take a really good look at the screen. Look at your feed. Look at your friends. Look at the people you look up to on social media. I'm going to tell you the most painful, uncomfortable truth about modern society in exactly 6 words. You are not rich. You are financed. That car you see your old high school friend driving, it's not his. It belongs to JP Morgan Chase on a 72-month lease at 6% interest. That solid gold watch the guy at the club is flexing, placed on a high-yield credit card that is bleeding him dry at 24% APR. That designer vacation in Dubai, financed through a buy now, pay later app that he's going to be paying off for the next 3 years while eating instant ramen in his tiny apartment. We have built an entire society obsessed with the illusion of wealth rather than the reality of power. You survive the salary trap. You realize that working a 9-to-5 job isn't going to make you a millionaire, but you walk straight out of the matrix of the cubicle and you walk directly into the slaughterhouse of ego. You let Instagram, TikTok, and modern consumer culture convince you that spending money you don't have to buy things you don't need to impress people who fundamentally don't care about you is the definition of success. It is not success. It is financial suicide, and Wall Street is laughing at you. Today, we are tearing down the facade. I'm going to show you exactly how the global banking elite have weaponized your own ego against you. I'm going to show you how a multi-trillion-dollar algorithm is designed to farm you like a crop. And by the end of this video, I'm going to teach you how to stop being the prey, how to stop looking rich, and how to start acting like a ruthless, calculated apex predator. Buckle up. We're about to burn your closet to the ground. Let's get our definition straight, because the education system intentionally failed to teach you this. What is wealth? Because right now, the middle class has a deeply distorted, tragically broken definition of wealth. You think wealth is seeing a massive pile of designer boxes. You think wealth is a loud exhaust pipe on a V8 engine. You think wealth is VIP bottle service. That is not wealth. That is consumption. And consumption is the exact opposite of wealth. Consumption is the destruction of capital. When you buy a pair of $1,000 sneakers, you are not getting wealthier. You are transferring your wealth to a French conglomerate owned by a billionaire who wouldn't let you clean his pool. An asset is something that puts money into your pocket while you sleep. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. It is that simple. Yet, an entire generation has been psychologically rewired to aggressively spend their seed capital acquiring massively depreciating liabilities. Let's look at your car. You sign a piece of paper for a brand new luxury vehicle. The literal second you drive those 4 wheels off the dealer's lot, the car loses 10 to 20% of its market value. By the end of the year, it's down 30%. Yet you are paying interest on the full purchase price. You are paying thousands of dollars a year in insurance, maintenance, and premium gas. You are bleeding capital to drive a piece of depreciating metal from your rented apartment to a job you hate. And why do you do it? Because you want to look like you're winning at a red light. The psychological trap is brilliant. Historically, if someone wanted to look rich, they actually had to be rich. They needed capital. But in the modern fiat economy, the banks figured out a loophole. They realized they could create the aesthetic of wealth entirely through debt. You no longer need capital to live like a king. You just need a credit score. And that is where the trap snaps shut. The elite wants you focused on your credit score because a credit score is not a measure of your wealth. Let me repeat that because I need it permanently burned into your brain. A credit score has absolutely nothing to do with financial freedom. Your credit score is simply a metric calculating how profitable of a slave you are to the central banking system. It measures how reliably you can take on debt and hand your future labor back to the elite. You have been tricked into playing a game where the prize is your own servitude. Welcome to the meat grinder. Let me explain exactly how Wall Street turns your ego into their profit Let's talk about the absolute scam that is buy now, pay later. Klarna, Afterpay, Affirm, these tech companies disguised as friendly payment processors are arguably one of the most predatory financial innovations of the 21st century. They tell you, hey, why wait? Split your $500 jacket into 4 easy payments of $125. It's zero interest. You think they're doing you a favor? You think you just hacked the system? They know the psychology of consumption better than you know yourself. Retailers using buy now, pay later see cart conversion rates skyrocket. They see average order values surge by over 40%. Why? Because when you delay the pain of payment, your brain stops treating it like real money. You are borrowing against your future hours, your future stress, your future energy, just to wear a piece of fabric today. And here is the dark reality of how Wall Street weaponizes your weakness. When you take out consumer debt, whether it's checking out with a firm or swiping your Visa for a vacation, that debt doesn't just sit there. The banks take your specific debt, group it together with thousands of other broke people's debts, and they package it in the complex algorithmic financial instruments called asset-backed securities. They take your ego-driven, impulsive purchase, they slap a shiny AAA rating on it, and they sell it to massive global hedge funds, pension funds, and billionaire family offices. Think about the profound sickness of this dynamic. The billionaire class, the people who actually rule the world, are earning a guaranteed, risk-free yield generated directly from the interest payments you make on the clothes you bought to pretend you were one of them. You are literally funding their generational wealth with your desperate need for validation. They own the asset, you owe the liability. They collect the yield, you collect the anxiety. You are a farm animal. I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, but someone has to tell you the truth. To a massive investment bank, you are fundamentally no different than a dairy cow. They keep you happily distracted with cheap dopamine, social media validation, and synthetic luxury while they milk you for compound interest every single month of your adult life. You trade hours of your finite, precious human existence on this planet for a handful of dollars, and you immediately hand those dollars over to JP Morgan so they can report record quarterly profits. It is a flawless execution of modern technological serfdom. You don't live in a neighborhood, you live in a free-range tax farm. Now, let's talk about the visual aesthetic of the elite, because if you want to understand power, you have to understand how power dresses. There is a phenomenon I call being Gucci broke. If you go to a middle-class mall or walk down the street in a major city center, you will see people covered head to toe in massive, aggressive logos. Balenciaga across the chest, Supreme on the hat, massive interlocking G's on the belt. These people are walking billboards. They are desperately screaming to the world, "Look at me, I have money, I have status." But if you walk into the private lounges of Davos, or the family office suites in Geneva, or the venture capital boardrooms on Sand Hill Road in Silicon Valley, you will see something completely different. The people who control hundreds of billions of dollars are wearing plain navy sweaters from Loro Piana. They are wearing unbranded Brunello Cucinelli t-shirts. They are driving understated armored SUVs, or better yet, they are sitting in the back seat completely invisible behind tinted glass. Why? Why do the people with the most money show it the least, while the people with the least money show it the most? Because true wealth, alpha wealth, is defined by stealth. When you are actually powerful, you do not need validation from strangers on the sidewalk. You don't need a waiter at a restaurant to think you're important. You know you're important because you own the restaurant, the building the restaurant is in, and the debt of the people eating there. The middle class uses money as a tool for communication. The elite use money as a tool for domination. When you spend your capital on a flashy liability, you are signaling weakness. You are legally declaring that your primary objective in life is seeking external approval. And the global capitalist machine loves people who seek external approval. They are the easiest demographic to manipulate, the easiest to control, and the easiest to drain. Let me break down the brutal math of the Gucci broke paradox. Let's say you take $2,000. Person A, the consumer, goes out and buys a designer bag. The second they step out of the boutique, the bag is worth maybe $1,200 on the resale market. After a year, the trend changes, the bag is out of style, and it sits in a closet gathering dust. The value approaches zero. Person B, the predator, takes that same $2,000. They don't buy the Louis Vuitton bag, they buy $2,000 worth of LVMH stock, the actual conglomerate that owns the brand. Over the next decade, while Person A is working overtime to pay off their credit card, Person B's stock appreciates. It pays dividends. Those dividends are reinvested. Person B is literally capturing the wealth of millions of Person A's globally. Person B isn't wearing the brand. Person B owns the global infrastructure of insecurity that powers the brand. That is the difference between playing the game and owning the casino. The broke try to look rich. The rich try to look invisible while acquiring everything around them. You have a choice to make right here, right now. You can close this video, open up Instagram, scroll past a 30-second clip of a 22-year-old crypto influencer standing on a rented yacht, feel a deep, crushing sense of inadequacy, and immediately go online shopping to numb the pain. You can continue to trade the finite, irreplaceable hours of your youth to enrich the shareholders of luxury conglomerates and massive credit card companies. You can remain a perfectly functional, highly profitable cog in the machine of modern debt serfdom. You can be the prey, or you can wake up. You can decide that the system is rigged and therefore you refuse to play by its rules. You can realize that true wealth is not the ability to buy whatever you want. True wealth is the absolute, unshakable freedom to say no. It is the power to walk away from a toxic boss. It is the power to ignore a manipulated economy. It is the power to dictate exactly how, when, and where you spend your time on this earth. Power is not a Ferrari. Power is a fortress of impenetrable, cash-flowing, appreciating assets that shield you from the chaos of the world. Power is waking up on a Tuesday morning and knowing that whether you get out of bed or not, your net worth is increasing because your capital is working harder than you are. You can't finance power. You can't put freedom on a 36-month installment plan. It must be built, brick by boring brick, through extreme discipline, undeniable aggression, and the absolute rejection of the consumer mindset. So how do we break the matrix? How do we transition from the hunted to the hunter? First, you execute a violent, unforgiving purge of your ego. You stop caring about the opinions of people who are secretly one missed paycheck away from bankruptcy themselves. Let them judge you. Let them think you're broke. Let them look down on your 5-year-old reliable car. Let them laugh at your blank, unbranded shirts. You want them to think you're broke. Underestimation is the greatest tactical advantage in the world. Your salary, your income, your side hustle money, none of it exists to make you look good. Every dollar you generate is a soldier, and right now, you are sending your soldiers out to die on the battlefield of retail so you can take a cute photo. Stop murdering your capital. From this moment forward, you deploy your soldiers aggressively into income-producing assets. You buy equity in massive index funds. You acquire scarce digital assets. You invest in cash-flowing digital businesses. You buy real estate. You stop being the target demographic and you become the institution. If it does not put money in your pocket or drastically improve your health and capability, you do not buy it. It is that simple. You starve your liabilities and you obsessively overfeed your assets. You use AI and automation not to buy more garbage online, but to scale your income vectors. You leverage the system against itself. You use the exact same financial rules the elite use, but you use them to construct your own personal sovereign wealth fund. The middle class flexes for the algorithm. Alpha culture flexes on the balance sheet. I don't care if you have to eat rice and beans. I don't care if you have to temporarily disappear from your social circle for 2 years. Do the shadow work. Build your capital base. Let the sheep graze on the debt farm while you silently accumulate the land they are grazing on. The trap relies on your vanity. The second you sacrifice your vanity, the trap falls apart, and you become incredibly dangerous. Stop buying the illusion. Start buying the reality. If this hit home, tap the like. It costs nothing. Subscribe if you want to keep seeing real talk. I'll be right here. Stay dangerous. I'm out.